success.
Yep, and that seems to sort of be the theme of Liquid, at least in the early weeks. But we're going to reset now for game number 2. TL now on the blue side. Immortals hanging out on that red. Soraka banned. Get it out of there. Sick.
All right,
crap,
they dealt
Adrian.
with it. There it is. Wash your hands. Soraka's gone. Sivir gone as well. Oh, does this even raise Ashe up to a first pick overall?
Well, 2 mages banned, Vlad and Azir taken out by Immortals, so very well could be an Ashe first pick here for TL. Depends what they ban, of course. They do have one final ban to go through, and I would giggle if Immortals just snapped off the Ashe ban for their final one.
Yeah, Rek'Sai still floating around. Ryze as well hasn't found himself up here yet. But they're going to stick with that Lissandra ban. They don't want Immortals to have that engage option.
And there's Ryze, so Immortals 3 mid lane bans, respecting the power of a lot of the champions and taking that Azir, and it's a first pick Karma actually. So it could be that Ashe steal away now for Immortals, but Matt prioritizing that support quite heavily.
Yeah, I mean, Turtle's been playing a lot of Ashe as well, so they very well could first round it. That would signal a dive from Team Liquid, though. This is kind of a setup to bait an Ashe pick. If you have the Karma speed up, that's already threatening. Hey, I could speed up something like an Olaf, which they're definitely well aware has the ability to dive Ashe very easily. But yeah, Karma is a really versatile early pick, since it could also be played in the mid lane, and speed is good in any comp.
Correct. Move speed, always at a premium. So smart first pick from TL, but Immortals thinking about the Ashe. Maybe they think Ashe Olaf?
Well, that would steal away the other, yeah. They're like, oh my goodness, you're going to dive my Ashe with the Olaf. I guess we'll take it early. But, I mean, there are other things that can dive as well. It's not just that. Obviously, we already saw Hecarim, a lot of things on display to try and punish that pick. But that will not be the case this time around. They go for the other one. Rek'Sai left up. Rek'Sai picked on early here for Reignover.
Yeah, and this could be quite fun, especially if Dardoch does go for that Olaf. Reignover, I believe, is currently undefeated on Rek'Sai, but I believe the same is true for Dardoch's Olaf. And Dardoch's Rek'Sai, been not so hot so far. He hasn't played too many games of it, but certainly likes that Olaf. But Victor, of course, with Pobelta, very solid champion. Pretty much went down the Pobelta tier list of control mages.
And it's a great blind pick. It's always been true with Victor, or almost always been true with Victor. But you're going to early round a mid lane champion. Victor's definitely the one to go about here. So Immortals don't give away anything in their first round of picks. Meanwhile, Team Liquid, right behind that, they are going to pick up the Ashe. So you know what? You're not willing to first round it because we're threatening a dive? Great. Fabi will get right back on that and start trying to snipe you once again.
Well, Trundle there is all for Lolo. We'll see what Immortals choose to give Huni this time around for the matchup. But looks like Turtle might just play it safe. He's played a lot of Ezreal. I think it's his second most played AD carry after Ashe. And there's Ezreal Zyra. Lots to disengage. Trying to prevent the inevitable dive that feels like it's coming from TL's comp.
Yeah. The thing with Zyra is that if you're the one that gets hit with an Ashe arrow, you're screwed.
Yep.
So he has to hide behind Rek'Sai or whoever Huni is playing at all times.
And there it is. There's the Bard for Matt. And the Olaf does come out for Dardoch. Going to take Reignover's own champion and matchup against him.
Man, look at the long range engage here from Team Liquid. Not only do they have the Ashe to set up, they also have Bard. And I really want to see someone pull off a Bard ult into Ashe arrow instantly as soon as they come out of the stun. That timing would be so clean. And they have the Karma speed up for Olaf and Trundle as well to follow up. So this Team Liquid, they're very clear. They're running a very similar strategy to how they got their wins last night, where they 2-0'd. And there's the answer.
Yep, there's the Rumble for Huni. I think only played it once, but started to eat some bans for it. Just a champion that might be making his way back into the Trundle matchup. We saw Reignover was able to help Huni in game number 1. See if Lolo fares any better. But you said it, melee matchup's not so hot. He's a ranged champion.
This is a pretty hot one though.
Yeah.
Because Flamespitter here, if he can do it right, the first couple exchanges in the matchup really determine a lot for this. Rumble can get control of the minion wave while getting harassed, and if he avoids the exchange from Lorlo, and junglers are also, obviously, we say it over and over with these matchups, but man, they're going to be attracted to this duel as well anytime there is that Rumble matchup.
Good adjustments for both teams, I think. TL, I think they sort of cleaned up a few things here and there for the drafting game 1. Took a very similar looking comp, but this looks even better. Like, the amount of backline threat that this comp holds is real scary, especially The Squishy Turtle and the Squishy Zyra.
Yeah, and this is something we've seen Team Liquid execute on and use just last night. They had their 2-0 with a very similar composition to this, if not exactly the same. So they're very willing to dive you. And they also, as they transition into mid-game, they just use this comp to control a neutral objective, draw you out into the open, and then chase you down.
Well, now that we've seen game one, make sure you update your predictions by tweeting with the hashtag TLWin or the hashtag IMTWin. Our Team Liquid going to be able to move things through and force a final game, or Immortals going to sweep through yet another best of 3. They've looked so dominant despite, I believe, one loss so far to TSM, who are looking absolutely on fire. It's a big statement for Team Liquid to make. They have to try and take a game here to force that final, but Immortals, you said choo-choo already at the top of the game. Hype train not slowing down for this team.
Oh, it got off to a very quick start there. One of our quickest games. But man, I really actually am hoping for standard lanes again in this game. Whether they swap Australian or not, don't really care, because we've got double range on double range, high skill duo matchup, depending a lot on who lands the harass. Plus the melee matchup that draws a lot of jungler attention. And as well, anytime you see Rumble, I haven't talked about this in a long time, since we haven't had Rumble be really common in a long time. But Rumble is one of those champions right up there with Darius, where as a jungler, you have, some experiences where you try and block it out of your memory, but you go up there for a gank on a Rumble and he double kills you because he gets level 6, the Flame Spitter plus ultimate damage, especially if you're double melee, Olaf and Trundle, you'll be right next to each other. It's very scary. For Flash Rek'Sai on Burrow, knocks you up on top of that AoE from Rumble. You get double killed like that early on, the game runs away from you very quickly.
And it looks like you are going to get your wish, because I have 4 champions in the bottom half of the map. Matt and Fav are going to start on these Krogs. Crump going to be the start there for Immortals as they do move back for it. And you said it, it's probably the most exciting way to start our next game. And we've already highlighted them, Rainova and Tardok. Key junglers for their teams, especially in this matchup.
Ooh,
and I know your favorite thing about standard lanes, Kobe.
Yeah.
Junglers don't just autopilot through a lane swap, they actually get to do stuff.
Yes, we get to see some skill expression early on. One of the biggest things I actually like, if you're a jungler, you're always looking at how are my lanes going in the early stages. Phoenix took a lot of damage there. He also missed some CS and he auto-shoved the lane. So this Karma is priming herself for an early Rek'Sai gank. One of the things we love to see, Rek'Sai clears 3 camps, gets that level 3, so you have Tunnel at least, and Red Buff, and you come in 3 minutes, even before 3 minutes, just before, for that flash gank early on to try and punish a mid laner that pushes up like that. That would be an option, and you can see that he's already thinking about this. Phoenix places a ward on that side of the map to see that gank coming.
Great perception there from Phoenix, knowing that this is a likely thing for Rainova to do, so it does make sure he has the vision. Important to note that Karma is not a big Phoenix champion. It's his first time playing it. He's played only one other utility style champion, that's Zillion, I think all the way in the early weeks, so definitely a different sort of pick here for Phoenix, but more than capable, just not the big carries we've seen him on recently, as aggression is high in this bottom lane. So many trades.
And this is why I get excited for this bottom lane, because everybody's got low health pools. If you make a mistake like that, you get punished really, really heavily. You can see what they're doing, though. Trying to focus, anytime you get one of the members off to the side, the other 2 are going to try and focus down. If you focus your trades to try and harass at the same time, and your skill shots land, you get a very big reward. Plus, as of the moment, whenever you spawn those Zyra plants, they're going to auto champions. So you get a really big zone of control in the lane. It's one of the reasons why she's so popular right now. And if you get that big zone of control on one side, you force them into a lot smaller area to dodge Ezreal Qs. And it really works well together. Immortals trying to take over that lane, and they're gaining priority early on.
Yep, tier already up for Ezreal as well, so Total going to start stacking that early. Fabi and Matt will catch up in CS as Adrian's actually hanging out for a little while longer. So snare up Matt there, good damage back on the Bard.
Yeah, not only does he get the opportunity to attack from Brush, get a little surprise damage, a little extra gold from his Spell Thieves, but also you spawn more seeds the longer you're in the area. So he has more opportunities to set up those zones of control to try and make it easier for Turtle to land his Mystic shots.
Early blue buff here in the mid lane though for possability. It's causing Phoenix a few troubles. Looks like Rek'Sai was able to donate that off nice and early. We see this play all the time, but Dardak unfortunately not able to punish Rainova this time and get into that side of the jungle. And Phoenix almost stunned up. Possability zoning very nicely there with that gravity field.
Yeah, he's taking control. You know, doesn't really have a huge CS lead, but it's going to get a bit bigger as he's forcing Phoenix back right now. That'll be the teleport from Phoenix. He's going for the early buy. He should be able to get in time, get back in time for these minions, but even if he gets back in time, it's a kind of hard for Karma to CS perfectly under turret. So I do expect him still to lose out on some of them.
Ooh, good flash from Reyna, but Dardoch, though,
Very happy to get that summoner.
does have the ghost. Didn't want to chase, though. But again, probably can play more up in that jungle matchup as Reignover, without Smite, went to take away the Raptor camp. A little greedy, perhaps, on that particular brand of counter jungling. Turtle, though, just clearing things out. Looks like they've had the way pushed back in, but that should prompt TL maybe for a buy, although not hitting the recall button just yet, so maybe going to be a bit more patient. Don't need to rush here, as everyone's got some health back, finally, in this bottom lane.
Taking turns here, recalling for Immortals. This time it's Adrian going to go get his purchase off. This will be his first one. This is a good strategy, by the way, in this 2 versus 2, because Ezreal obviously wants to get his early tier purchase, but he's also one of the best champions, especially since he's already gotten that purchase, at CSing safely from afar. Even in something like a double range matchup where it's very scary, it's pretty easy for Immortals to take turns like this and allow for better purchase timings for them.
Yeah, and you can see everyone just sitting on basic items there on the TL side as Snare from Phoenix there does come in. Pobelta dodging that first Q. Gonna now move back in for the trade. Phoenix is level 6. Pobelta a little behind on experience, but he'll catch up soon, and Phoenix again just playing up where he can. Double Doran's on those boots, able to help him do that, but Pobelta not worried. He's played almost every matchup here in Victor. He said it already, very safe playing pick.
Yeah.
Ooh. Good trade from Huni. Lola getting burnt there. As Dardoch is in the top lane, so Huni can't play too aggressive.
Yep, Dardoch shows up. He stands still for a second, but as soon as he sees Reignover drop the ward, he's out. And that should be enough to dissuade some repeat ganks here on the top lane. I think that Huni won't push past River at this point. He'll probably use his Flame Spitter conservatively because there is that pink ward, and if you move past River, it's very scary. But he's gotten to that break point. As Rumble, you're like, as soon as you're level 6, you feel so confident.
Ooh, snare into Fabi. Good poke there from Turtle as he lands a Mystic Shot in. Now onto Matt. This could be an all-in from Immortals. Mystic Shot misses. It's not what you want.
Yep, they chase him right out of lane with that one. And until Ashe hits level 6, the return kill pressure is not quite there. So Turtle getting first to 6. Airball's the ultimate, though, so that is going to actually be a little bit of... Well, yeah, they are going to be able to stick around, but Reignover's going bottom, Dardoch's going top, so this is junglers going to opposite sides of the map, and they're both looking for action.
Huni's got flash. Can he get out? He's already silenced there from the overheat. Dardoch throws the first axe. It does land in. Now the ghost pop. In they go, but Huni flashes a pillar. Dardoch can't quite commit. The equalizer's going to keep them away. But looks like Reignover trying to zone them off that bottom turret. Didn't get them either.
That's one of those things. Yeah, go flashing up in your memory again. The time you tried to gank Rumble under a turret, he double kills you and you lose the game off it, basically. So even a risky call to actually go for that, popping ultimate and ghost. But they do force the back at least, and I don't think Huni is actually going to get punished for it because he's running back pretty quick here. So a little bit inaction for both junglers as Reignover found nothing down on the bottom side, by the way. You know, they had chunked out Fabi and Matt, but Fabi and Matt backed off.
Yep. Someone is held as well, so no dramas there for Team Liquid as Phoenix gets himself a blue buff. Must be nice after Pobelta got the early one. Huni, though, continuing to keep himself healthy in the lane. He's up on CS by a bit, going to try and burn these creeps down, but I love the item choices. The early revolver plus the Kindle Gem.
Oh, I love to see that. Proto Belt is my favorite item in the entire game. Thing is busted right now. Doesn't even cost mana to use. As the cooldown is ridiculously short. And not only do you get an extra move block there with a short dash, but the damage on the rockets is very significant. If you're somebody like Rumble, you know, Rumble, Annie, all these types of champions that would really benefit from all-ins like that, it can be very scary. Rumble's already packing a ridiculous amount of AoE, and the rocket spread is actually pretty wide. So it's very threatening once he does get that. Plus, it doubles as a defensive if you need that extra tiny boost to avoid a gank or something.
Snowball barely misses Turtle in the bottom lane. Matt with a nice Cosmic Binding through a minion, almost finds one, but again, everyone just relaxing for now. Huni Maybe pressured again here. Lolo thinking about it.
Oh,
Goes
he's
in, pops the ulti,
definitely
equalizes
thinking
down, but he
about it.
flashes out. That's Lolo there now on the wrong side, but Dardoch's here.
He's returning for the kill here. Rek'Sai comes over as well.
Oh, Rainover made it. He ultied back to the top lane, gonna try and protect Huni. But Dardoch wants it. He's popped the ulti, now Pobelter's here. They're gonna chase him out. That's a flash out from the Victor. Dardoch to ulti, about to run out.
Oh,
Gets 3. Damage is in there as well, but Rainover still chasing. Pobelter now with the Chaos Storm down, trying to get the damage in. And Dardoch maybe gonna get sniped. He gets burnt down. A double kill.
How many HP? Oh my god. That might have even been single digits. Holy moly, Huni survives there. The re-engage from Rainover on the triple knockup, it was trying to get him while they were clumped up for the Victor burst to land on everybody. So even though, you know, Huni probably could not re-engage at that moment, he was just counting on that AoE from Victor, and they chase him out. And what a turn by Immortals. The caution. We keep trying to caution people against going so deep on Rumble early on, but they actually played it really well up until this point. So here it is, the setup. The gravity field makes it so that Team Liquid all clump up, and Rainover takes that opportunity to chase. Here's the tick damage from the storm that gets them all. And Huni, honestly ridiculous right there.
You were close, Professor Kobe. It was 11 HP
11
apparently.
HP.
So not quite single digits, but almost going down. Instead, gets himself the double, finishes his proto belt, and now moving into his next item. We talk about it all the time. Huni, once again, looking to take over a top lane matchup, thanks to some help from his friends Pobelter and Rainover.
And think about the margins that Huni is getting the early advantages with. Last game, it was literally just Soraka ultimate he survived on. It was him losing and actually dying before Elise came in to get him a double kill. So Huni's like, he's playing a very dangerous game here. You know, he walks the line. It's what people love about him. You know, he's able to take these risks. He's very confident in doing so. And this time it pays out for him once again. So it makes it look like, oh my god, Immortals are just gonna crush this, but man, does he ever, you know, play it a little risky.
Certainly does. Team there behind him as well as Immortals continue to have a great start to another game here. Ocean Drake now going to be assaulted by them. They're up 3,000 gold already, looking to add a Drake to the inventory, and will do so. Rainover smites it, slaps it down. So that's that first Drake for this game. Over to Immortals. Dardoch looking in mid lane, but he's on top of a ward, so Pobelter going to play back appropriately.
Yeah, a bit risky now. Team Liquid, they also run the same risk they ran last game where, there we
Good
go.
boost from Pobelter, but he still eats a snare. Dardoch around, but the gravity field's in. Pobelter going to go down to Matt, of all people. But Huni's teleported in. Equalizes down, but the damage is back here. Lolo also made his way in. The proto belt pushes him through the pillar. Adrian flashes in, gets the roots. The ulti finds onto 2, but he doesn't get the knockup. Does barely onto Lolo. As Huni hits an arrow from downtown there from Fabi. Cooldown's getting traded, but only 1 for 1.
All right, a lot of action, and it was pretty exciting, but even trade is actually decent for them. Yeah, I mean, Team Liquid, what they're really worried about is the game snowballing out of control like it did last game where Immortals ran away after the first early exchanges. Even though they won them by very small margins, the double kill going right onto the Rumble is so threatening. Let's see if he can actually kite out Lorelo here. Proto Belt should be back up soon.
Yep. I think it's up now, actually. So isn't going to use it. Does push through the pillar. Pobelter, though, going to try and turn it around. Huge damage onto Lolo. Gravity field going to zone them out. TP in from TL, though. Huni goes back to the turret. TP completed. Phoenix looks for the snipe. Doesn't get the back end of Self Play. Can't kill him.
Huni's got some weird old Poppy passive or something. Can't ever finish him off. And Dardoch's going to pay the price.
Yeah, Umbarro, Rainover going to take it in. Huni! Flash harpoon for the kill.
Man! Huni doesn't even care. He's like, I flashed to steal a kill from my jungler? Yes, I'll do that.
After almost dying.
I've got Proto Belt. I don't need flash. I got Proto Belt.
Well, third kill over for Huni. Has 3 of the 4 now for Immortals. This is off to a flying start once again in that top half. Fabi and Matt trying to keep things up here in the bottom lane, and it's pretty even on CS, although Turtle leading by 15 isn't too bad. But once again, it's the Rainover Pobelter Huni sort of Triforce that's really just causing all these problems for TL. They want to help Phoenix, they want to help Lolo. Dardoch, such a good jungler, but right now getting undone by the Immortal squad.
Yeah.
So that one, I believe, also went over to Rainover, just to add insult to injury. Phoenix with some poke, good damage on the po'Belter, but he'll be fine. Gonna go back now.
Walk it off.
Yep.
Flash is coming back up soon, so should be able to avoid the next all-in from Team Liquid. Team Liquid, though, they do have Ash Arrow. They do have Bard Ultimate. So what they want to do, obviously, is use these long-range abilities to try and pick people off and get, you know, kills where they don't have to trade anything back to Immortals. They want to try and catch people out of position, surprise them with these. You can see that's why Dardoch is down bottom. This is where their playmaking ability is and where the squishy targets are. Adrian's a prime one for this. He has no flash on Zyra. They would love to be able to get vision of him and try and lock him down, but you can't afford to wait around on the same token because look at Rainover. He's sneaking in. He's still in the Raptors again.
Matt's in trouble. Arrow lands, but that's going to be a flash forced out from Bard.
There it is. Rainover got away. You know, anytime you leave your jungle unattended, Rainover moves right in. Immortals have one of the highest jungle control rates, which is the percentage of total jungle monsters that your team kills in a game. Theirs is well over 50%, meaning that they take away a lot of the enemy's jungles as well. And Rainover is the one doing the dirty work. Dardoch down bottom, take away a camp.
Yep. Just, again, very straightforward for Immortals so far. There's actually Turtle and Adrian might have enough pressure for this turret. Matt got chunked out earlier, so can't really be here for defense, although he's making his run back now. Fabby, they're going to get zoned off this turret, and that should be it. Yep. First turret of the game will go down to bottom lane. Turtle and Adrian also putting work in.
I know, they go unmentioned so often because they're not on camera quite as often since they're farming most of the time. But once again, never mind, let's look at some action. Boom, boom.
Good trade, self-flare, nope. Does not get the damage.
Oh, he's trying to zone him off the cannon.
Phoenix gonna get Tailstormed up. There's a flash on Burrow. po'Belter with a Q.
Yeah, Phoenix wanted to zone him off that cannon kill and punish him for going for that cannon, but sometimes you bait yourself with the cannon. Oh, actually, here comes Rainover as well.
Oh, Matt! Chunked up, a good tempered fate finds two. Dardoch actually around the other side. Immortals trying to finish off the turret. Matt's bailed. Takes a magical journey out through the Raptor camp.
Yeah, I was like, they're converging. They're still converging, though.
Lolo's here, finally arrived, but po'Belter flushes out of the way. Dardoch gonna chase him down. Gravity field zones him, but Fabby's here. po'Belter finally falls as Ash collects the kill. Lolo gonna chase out Rainover. Arrow misses barely. And now Hooney's arrived. He just walked down. Lolo snared up. Turtle with the ulti in. Does land, but Lolo bails out the side from a magical journey. Rainover still wanting to chase, though. The rest of Team Liquid grouped up. Maybe can counter-engage. And Immortals do give it up.
I mean, yeah, we'll take stock. That was so crazy. Everybody got lost on the opposite side. In the end, though, that's a kill for Team Liquid without losing their mid-turret. Their main objective there was trying to defend their mid-turret and keep it upright because they can't, if that falls, then the jungle just gets wide open. And, you know, Rainover moves in, he starts dropping all these Sightstone wards, you know, and you really lose control just like last time. But they're able to defend it just barely, plus they get a kill to take away. So that's a very small step back into the game for Team Liquid, but a much needed one.
Yes, a necessary step, certainly. As Immortals are still up 5,000 gold. We'll watch this shenanigans again, though.
Yeah, so all right. So first collapse here is just the Bard and the Olaf. And Matt gets the ult off and then pieces out because he was on Gravity Field and snared up. Meanwhile, second round of convergence as Team Liquid draw in extra reinforcements. Lorlo's here. We speed up. po'Belter flashes over, then sticks his head up. Oh my god, I'm in the enemy base. Fabby's here collapsing as well, and they take him down. That arrow missing actually caused all kinds of craziness, but in the end, let's go back to live in the Dragon.
Yep, and there's a round of Drake for Immortals. Top laners did want to walk down there because they needed the TPs for that Drake. Lolo, they're working on this turret. Face tanking it right now. Dardoch's here to join him. Hooney, ultimate at the ready. It's actually level 2 because he's level 12. With the Leandry's finish, this is a tricky siege for two melee champions. Dardoch going to realize that and back away. Lolo's still trying to pressure, but Hooney, yeah, pretty good wave clear right now with the Flame Spitter. po'Belt's forward just to make sure it goes down quickly.
I'm telling you, that's the most busted part. The cooldown on it is
40 seconds.
It's so ridiculous.
You guys thought Ghostblade was good. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
po'Belt.
I mean, it's not even just that, right? He's hit this huge spike with the Leandries. Okay, this turret, they really want to finish it off. As we said, that's a crucial point in the game.
Ooh, Tempered Fate. A whiff. Oh, that one's not though. Pobel to the target. Gonna charge in. Dada gonna try and shred him down, but the damage is too much. Fabi will take out Belter, and Rainover's also chunked out as well. But Huni, he does arrive into the fight, he's burning people down. Takes out one. Phoenix bails, but Turtle follows. Does get snared up, but he's gonna try to do it. Oh, Q misses, but Turtle flashes out. Now goes forward for Fabi. Gets himself a double kills. Adrian, they got himself out to safety, and a 4-for-2 trade in favor of Immortals.
All right, that's going to be the mid turret finally going down. We did get one more nice team fight out of it, though, and Immortals do clean up. Although it wasn't the cleanest, very good move in there from Turtle to actually not only protect Adrian, but get those last 2 kills. Otherwise, it would have been a decent exchange. Team Liquid starting it all off, and here's the arrow onto Pobelter, well aimed. The Zyra disengage plus the Victor ultimate coming out there is huge though. It does force Dardoch out, and then they get him with the Rumble ultimate anyway. But here's the extra chase, and Phoenix dodging this initial Q is actually pretty huge, and that's what gets the flash from Adrian. But then yeah, Turtle's in there, picks up the extra kill, and Immortals are gonna keep the tempo high pace here. Try and pressure in. They've got extra turrets up top lane. That would be the next objective. Standing gold, basically. Outer turrets this far into the game, especially when you have a lead like this, are pretty easy pickings to increase that lead.
And unfortunately for TL, they don't have those turrets. So that's gold they really want here. It's been pretty close on the team fight stage. Immortals getting the better end of most of them so far. But it's really the conversions for objectives that's got Immortals 2 Drakes plus a huge gold lead. They're 8,000 gold up already. And that's a worrying sign as nice play, Turtle. Gets out from under Favi's arrows, ruining that poor hit rate as they'll take out the Arda. Lolo, though, working on bottom, might be able to convert, but Huni is there to defend it, and Immortals just getting themselves further and further ahead.
Yep, there it is. They cash in. Last outer turret down, and Rainover's on the run. He is circled in.
Oh, flashes in. Maybe he's going to turn it around. Phoenix fails through the portal. Tempered Fate hits 2 into the middle of the journey, but Huni flashes forward to take out Karma.
The flash proto belt, I love that. Point blank rockets. The extra ones do extra damage, by the way. It's only 20%, but if you get in there, point blank proto belts actually do a lot of damage.
Yeah, just eat a fan of rockets. All of a sudden your health bar's gone. There's a robot on top of you. It's a bad time. There's Turtle and Adrian again, continuing the Immortals macro strength. Pressure everywhere now, actually in top and mid lane. Lolo looking to defend, but Dardoch does have his ultimate. Got the Ghost at the ready. Maybe a fight here. No ulti for Matt, though.
They might, you know, if you are desperate, you start to think about these things, right?
Yeah.
There's at least no Rumble ultimate and no Victor ultimate available for Immortals, so it goes through your mind a little bit, but it'd be very hard, and they would need a really good setup from Matt with some sort of cosmic binding or something. And as you say, he doesn't have his ult, so hard to set that one up.
Well, one tower for Immortals there. They get the tier 2 in top lane. Didn't get the tier 2 in mid, so Team Liquid with a successful defense there. Drake is also up in just under 2 minutes now, and it'll be Infernal number 2 for Immortals, or the first Drake here for Team Liquid. So things starting to get a little out of hand here. Game ended about a minute after this point, so that's not going to happen anytime soon. Game 1, yep. But Team Liquid definitely on the ropes here, looking to battle through what is now a 10,000 gold lead for Immortals at 23 minutes.
It's insane, right? Because there's so much action, and Team Liquid are actually trading back, you know, almost even in kills in most of the trades. But every single time, Immortals are getting a turret. Look at that, 4 turret lead. The other thing that Immortals are doing, and that they usually do in their games, is Huni is very good at pruning his side wave before they decide to force something, especially with someone like Rumble. You know, he's usually on a damaged champion, so it makes it easier, and he can clear a wave really quickly. But getting the waves in position and then they go into the crazy fights means that even if you go, you know, 3 for 2 or something like that, and you only come out slightly ahead in the actual fight, you come out way ahead as far as global gold is concerned. And that stacks up over and over and over, and that's how they build up this big lead.
Yep, that's the signature Immortal style. Play aggressively for kills and pressure. Ulti misses. Matt's going to get chunked out by Turtle.
Oh, Turtle!
Almost takes him out. The ult is close. Pobelter flashes in and gets one with the Chaos Storm, and now Phoenix going to be the next target. Turtle still not done. Arcade shifts in, takes out Phoenix, and Dardoch runs for the hills with the ulti on.
And this is when Immortals play best. They've got the early lead, and they just put it to 10. Diving turrets. Turtle with huge outplays there, dodging everything from Matt, then almost killing him and forcing the flash. allowing pobbelter to go in there and clean it up.
There's just pressure in every lane. Immortals going to look to break mid here. Huni makes his way back from the bottom lane in. Dardoch going to get dove. He's got no ultimate. Will get chunked out as Turtle claims another victim. Lolo, maybe the next one, but Immortals turn their attention to the turret. Turtle goes back in, shifts forward, continuing to bait them out. Inhibs are now the new target. Rainover pretty tanky on the front line. And pobbelter blows him up. Huni dominating, takes out Bite with the equalizer, and Immortals just break straight through the middle of the map.
Yeah. Oh, Turtle got bored.
Again.
He's in there.
Yeah. Actually, maybe in trouble now. Phoenix gonna force a flash.
Oh, I love that. Classic Turtle. You know, everybody on my team's backing out. We got a bunch of kills. We took the inhibitor. Time to arcane shift forward. Going for fight this 2 versus 1. He actually does get out unpunished. Has to blow his flash, but lives.
Maybe gonna be safe from the wrath of this ulti. Look to trim the wave, but doesn't get it.
Yeah.
Drake though will have to do for Turtle this time. There's the second Infernal for Immortals, their third total. Let's watch this again.
Yeah, this is why Turtle's all amped up. He's looking for action. He's like, Matt came at me? Ha, easy dodge. We're going all in on him. Oh, actually, the only thing I guess he really dodged was that Cosmic Binding. The ultimate wasn't very close to him, so it was pretty easy, actually. But again, yeah, pobbelter with a nice follow-up. Then Turtle's just full damage forward. Here we go.
It's Huni though, doesn't have the ultimate, but Rainover's also in the area. Immortals collapsing, Team Liquid death for a Baron! Bruno melts through Bart as Matt will fall. That's a flash up from Frabby, gets himself through the back end of the pit, but Immortals say thank you very much for the leash. I will take the Baron.
Alrighty, that's a ridiculous.
Turtle.
Get her!
Yep, just shifts in. Oh, W kill, almost. Oh! Predicts the Duke. Gets him with a Q, and Immortals claim almost the whole map. And maybe now at this point, a few more turrets. His base is in trouble.
All right, that's going to be Immortals walking it in here. Baron buff empowered minions. Inhibitors going down, and Team Liquid trying to revive.
Well, Immortals are going to move in for the kill. They'll ignore the top inhib for now. pobbelter going to give it a bit of a go. But Immortals not going to look to take this down. They're so far ahead, and Team Liquid cannot mount a defense. Maybe they can. Tempered Fate's going to delay it for a little while longer, but pobbelter just going to face tank some damage. Lolo going in. Turtle goes godlike. They'll keep them in the fountain. Lolo's going to fall down. The Nexus will go down, and in blisteringly fast fashion, Immortals claim a 2-0 over Team Liquid. Turtle got a casual triple.
Blistering fast fountain damage they're doing there. But yes, they eventually turn back around for the Nexus and clean up their 2-0.
I really wonder in comms there if Turtle's yelling, guys, I got a triple. Let's dive the fountain for the penta, but Immortals do clean the game up instead, and it does seem like business as usual for the team. Team Liquid, yes, they've been on the rise, but it was always going to be a tough test here versus Immortals. Immortals prove at least this time we're still the better team.
Holy moly, yeah. And you could tell, you know, Team Liquid, they had their plan. They wanted to camp top lane. They tried multiple times to make plays on Huni up in the top lane. But not only did he survive, he also was able to turn it around. When Rainover ults in with Rek'Sai, pobbelter also had a lot of roams. He was very mobile on this Victor. He was quick to answer side lane pressure. And them turning around up in the top side when they get the double kill onto the Rumble early on, and Huni survives with 11 HP. It's like Immortals, that's all they need is one play to go their favor early game and win it by a small, no matter how much they win it by, as they win one of those early plays, then they just flip the switch and they go super hard into the mid game and do not stop until they're inside the base.
Yep, train did not slow down, and Immortals once again moved through for, I think, less than an hour combined, taking out Liquid there in a 2-0 sweep. Certainly looking up for the team so far, but Immortals again proving that we are still one of the top teams in North America. And for me, it's just so impressive how much of a team effort it is, because we can highlight individual players for days. They've got so much star power in this lineup, but both those games, despite the individual brilliance, it was really a team effort. And they just all come together, and it's one perfect storm that blows straight through Team Liquid's base.
Definitely agree with you. A lot of the critics of Immortals, even though everybody acknowledges they're a top team in North America, always point to, oh, this, you know, pobbelter in the mid lane, you know, how well is he doing? Well, it turns out he's doing great, because last night he crushed it. In these two games, he also crushed it this series. This one, even though it was more about, you know, him moving up to other lanes, he also held his own really easily against Phoenix in the mid lane. Plus Adrian, on the offensive range. It's still a range support, but very offensively oriented range here on the Zyra this time around. Had some big plays, even came up to mid lane himself to roam, to flank. And really, they all are contributing to these big Immortals wins.
They certainly are. And for a closer look at that Immortals victory, let's head down to Riv, who's got an interview with Immortals top laner.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Great cast on the day. I am joined by Huni, the man in the top lane after their win over Liquid. Huni, I have to ask you, you had some words about Lorlo as you came into the game. He is a good top laner, maybe a one-trick Aurelia, but you guys solo killed each other. How was that matchup, actually?
It was pretty much for me hard because usually Trundle in face is like really good and it's like 1 versus 1 is as a tank matchup because he can actually sustain a lot from passive and ulti, like maximum HP is like still is. So it was pretty hard, but still for me, I even solo killed it, but what I feel was like not winning because I got help from Soraka ulti. It was really close, and then I just got a solo kill because I didn't use ulti. Like it was a lot of happens, but I think still it was like really fun to playing the game.
Oh, it was an awesome game to watch in that top lane and all around, so congrats on the win still. Moving forward, you guys have always said, or have been saying this season, things are looking better. Pobelter said it, other people have said the team feels like you're getting stronger. How has preparation changed in best of threes? Do you prepare any different now?
For now, it's like best of 3, so we are trying to just more adapt, and then what are they like strength pick? So that's why we've been like Aurelia. So that makes us like he's really famous that one trick, not one trick, but it's just playing Aurelia. So like we're just respecting enemy more. Like what are they prefer playing champion, and then we prepare a lot. We didn't respect enemy. At the same time, we're not getting like something overconfident from like winning. So I think that makes a lot difference between compared to last split.
And final question, Cloud9 and Apex next week. How are you going to prepare for those teams?
First of all, both of them is Korean, so it's gonna be really exciting for me because Apex Ray, he's like really has nice mechanics, and Impact, he has so much experience. Like, you know, it's gonna be really exciting game for me as well. And then I'm gonna prepare really enough, and then we will prove that we're highest elo in NA LCS.
Well, chicks dig elo, so that's a great thing. Huni, thank you so much for the interview. We are going to go ahead and throw it over to the analyst desk to break down the rest of that game.
Thank you very much, Riv. TSM holding that highest elo position in the North American LCS, but Immortals making a run for...
Not for long, maybe.
Yeah, making a run for it with performances like this, where, in all honesty, man, they put on a show against Team Liquid in both games. We already touched on game 1, but this one, no different. Huni on that Rumble looking rather slick, picking up some kills early in the game in some very close little skirmishes.
I think that's just like Huni. If he's not blinking red when he gets the kill, he doesn't think he's playing it right. Like even game 1, like that Soraka last second here, you know, getting what they said 11 HP kills with Rumble, coming back into fights after he's getting dove. He's not afraid. If he trades the kill back, whatever, he wants that. He wants that gold.
Right, absolutely. And before we get to some of those clips where we will see that prowess on the Rumble, let's go ahead and look at the champion select real quick. Things that jump out here, of course, we're going to go with that Olaf for Dardoch again, and it has been something that he's been rather successful on. They forego a Shen to kind of couple with it, but they do support it with Karma move speed and throw the Trundle in there to kind of try and add a second frontliner.
I actually kind of like this comp a little bit more than their game 1.
Okay.
They banned the Soraka, so they don't have to deal with that, and it looks like it should be, you know, a little bit better for them. I think the comp's fine. I think you saw the potential it has with the pickoffs, with the Bar, the Ashe, Olaf running in to get damage down, and you know, Karma kind of enabling a lot of the follow-up to that long-range engage. But the problem is they just lose every early game skirmish, and once you're behind, they don't have an off switch, Team Liquid, and they just keep looking for plays, and Immortals just shuts it down.
Yeah, Kobe said it very well. It seems like all it takes is one tiny play, one minor victory for Immortals somewhere in the early game to really just catapult them through the mid game, and we get exactly that 9 minutes into the game. This is that 2-for-0 where Rumble, Huni is left with 11 HP at the end of it, but picking up 2 kills.
Yeah, I mean, he's really low under turret. He barely manages to clear the wave. TL's collapsing, thinking they can get this, but Immortals just on top of it. They're all collapsing as well. Pobelter gets a nice flash out there on a gravity field to stop the rest of TL from following up, and then the rest of it's just a chase down. This is where Huni's, you know, crazy. The rest, most people aren't going to come back in here. He comes like, whatever, melee range.
Yeah.
Not just shooting harpoons, getting melee range, getting autos in, gets both kills with that, and it's just, you know, these small margins that always seem to go in Immortals' favor versus Team Liquid, and then from there it's just kind of a slaughter.
And really, the only thing that served to do is create and diversify the threats on Immortals, because we saw later in the game, 19 minutes into the game, Liquid actually gets a decent engage off of an Ashe arrow onto Pobelter, a priority target. However, when there's enough gold on both your mid laner and your top lane Rumble, you can't rid yourself of both AoE threats.
I mean, you see the power of the engage here. They use the Bard ult to get Pobelter in a bad spot and then pick him with the Ashe arrow. He instantly gets blown up. Reignover follows, but then Huni just comes in here and just slaughters the whole rest of the team by himself, basically.
Right.
And then Eternal moves in for cleanup. Gets it pretty close here, but manages to get the double kill. And this is, the kind of situation where if Team Liquid didn't lose those early game skirmishes quite so hard, even if they just picked up a kill or two in return, then that's maybe a fight that they can win. But it's not the case. Huni's massive. You kill, Pobelter, who cares? Huni's going to clean up. So it's really just that case where they fall behind early and they just can't ever recover.
Huni's also going to grab player of the game. 7-0 and 6 on Rumble. I know that caught you off guard that time around, but again, the Proto Belt Rumble, very impressive. We saw
that
we don't have to replay that Baron where he Proto Belts in and basically 100 to zeros. Matt on the Bard. Wonderful showing by him on that champion, but again, so much of it comes from Immortals' ability to skirmish in the early game. The rotation up from Pobelter, the support from Reignover in that top lane to get him those couple kills, and then it's up to him, of course, to play it out, but they really do operate so well in those mini skirmishes that give them the advantages they need to then create these random 8K gold leads by, 20 minutes.
They're just very aware of what's happening to other people on the map. So the mid laner knows what's happening top lane. I need to start moving up there, and he's able to get there to cover some of these problems and the fights that are happening. So you see Pobelter on these roams consistently making it up, even though he didn't pick up a player of the game this series. He was pretty critical in a couple of these fights. So that's just kind of IMT's mortal strength. They're just always in the right place at the right time as a team. And
well, I was going to say, and I think on the opposite side of it, right? You look at Team Liquid and you say, well, they had a good series against Apex yesterday, picking up that victory against another middle-of-the-pack team, but their showings against these upper echelon of teams are just not that impressive, and particularly against Immortals, they didn't seem to have any answers. They were getting beat pretty much everywhere, marginally.
Yeah, I think what it is just like Team Liquid is just a worse version of Immortals. Like they're very similar in style. There's a little difference between Lorlo and Huni. And back when Team Liquid was using Piglet more, obviously they're a little bit more bot centric. But in terms of overall mentality and playstyle, they're both very aggressive, very fight heavy early game teams. And the thing is, you just run up against a better version of yourself. It's like that older brother who's just a little bit better than you at everything.
Right.
You can't beat him. And I think Team Liquid, for as terrible as they might have looked in scorelines this series, they really didn't play too much worse than yesterday. Obviously, Matt was missing a lot of his Bard ults. That was a problem. But by that time, they were already pretty far behind. And I think it's just this stylistic mismatch where you put both of them up against each other. Team Liquid's going to look horrible most of the time.
Well, funnily enough, it's not a stylistic mismatch. It's a mirror. It's a mirror, as you mentioned, but because one side is just slightly superior across the board in all the elements of their play style, they're obviously the ones who are going to come out looking significantly better because they skirmish better, they rotate a little bit better, they CS better, right? There's no real win here for Team Liquid on the smaller levels of the game, minor levels of the game.
Unless Immortals is playing bad that day or Team Liquid has some of the best games of their life, I don't think that this is a good matchup for Team Liquid. And I think Immortals is happy to get this matchup because they can almost just sit back and wait for a Team Liquid to come in, just absorb the body shots and kind of retaliate.
Yeah, well, so of course for Team Liquid it might be tough to stomach that one, but hopefully they can kind of compartmentalize that and look at the other top tier teams that they've yet to go up against, and perhaps they're going to have better matchups against the likes of CLG, Envy, maybe even TSM, right? Because at least in that regard, you do have the mismatches. That's where you have the stylistic mismatches that they can maybe take advantage of.
Yeah, for sure. I think a team like Envy would be a much better opponent for them because they can kind of get their early game aggression off the ground and going, and then from there, try and get a snowball, but definitely not a great matchup.
Right.
They already lost to Envy once, but it was a little bit closer. So.
All right, well, that's going to close